Welcome everyone to Good Morning Flag Football. All right. Today's episode is brought to you by Claritin. Make sure that your allergies are taken care of this summer as the weather starts to break. I'm only saying that because I'm a little stuffy from allergies this past week. So forgive me if I sound a little nasally today.
My allergies have been killing me.
They,
I don't know if it's every spring.
yeah, it's not fun.
It's not. And I mean, I didn't develop allergies until end of high school,
Really?
into college. And I started legitimately being allergic to grass. Not to an extreme level,
Yeah.
but if I just lay in it, it's bad.
Oh yeah. Or if you
And I didn't
fall in it,
yeah.
trying to
Well,
make a dive and catch. It's
and I just live with it because it's not bad. It's just really, really itchy.
It's just annoying.
It's just very annoying. And I didn't notice it till college because I played on turf.
Yeah.
And then on Tuesdays we would go to this grass field and play. And it kept getting progressively worse. And so I asked one of our trainers, I was like, what is happening?
Yeah.
Because it started getting red and irritated. And they're like, oh, you probably are allergic to grass. I was like, since when
Right.
am I allergic to grass?
You're getting old, man.
I'm getting old. I feel old. Even in our I don't know what it's been this whole season. I've felt old.
Yeah. No,
And
I definitely feel that my conditioning this season has not been anywhere close to where it has been in past seasons.
yeah, and I think when I first joined, I was just so excited. I was fresh out of college ish.
Yeah.
And so I don't know, I was definitely in better shape. And maybe me not playing last season didn't help. And so I wasn't really running that much. Or this is a different type of run.
Yeah, for sure.
It's not just running out like you do with your dog. I don't know. I was so sore after the first couple weeks. Last week was better, but it might take till the wild card round for me to feel okay.
Yeah. The only good thing about these allergies is, well, one, I haven't been able to work out all week until today, which is very, very not good for me. Not good. So yeah, I mean, that just kind of goes to show you how my week's been going. So I'm hoping that it doesn't affect me too much this weekend. But
Yeah.
I did lose a little bit of weight. I'm feeling a little bit lighter. So hopefully that amounts to something.
A little more agile then,
Hopefully.
maybe.
Maybe a little bit more bouncy.
Before we get into anything, so you know how I'm creating a small petition to add an award to the end of the year. And I was actually approached by a couple people about this to add I would call it the trench position, the trench award. And it would involve, I was only approached by saying maybe we should do centers. I was actually approached by a couple of different people of who is the best center out there because it is a legit position.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you've seen how bad snaps can really hurt a drive.
Yeah, for sure.
But even then, having to turn into a receiver and even defensively, centers are hard to guard sometimes. But then taking it on the flip side, a lot of us play that 3-2 defense. So we have that middle linebacker. So I would like to include that in a trench position as well.
Ooh, I like it.
So, I mean, I know a lot of teams have specific safeties that they like to play. For us, it's Kev usually back deep and Dylan. But our middle, I feel like that middle linebacker, you need to be a little Ray Lewis type, but maybe a little Ed Reed in you too.
Yeah.
And then that center, I mean, it's not just for big guys.
No.
But I would like to call it the Trench Player Award. And maybe there's a better name for it. I know we have MVP, Offensive Player of the Year, Defensive Player of the Year, but I would like to make a little petition that we add something for the trench players here.
As a fellow trench player, I would really appreciate that. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I don't think I'd win it this year just because I haven't been able to produce as much as I would like to, but that's okay.
Right. I mean, I've played it in emergency situations, and I will say it's nerve-wracking a little bit because I don't snap the ball usually. Yeah. But no, I think that'd be a good thing. And if anybody I know we've done Rookie of the Year and stuff like that in the past, but if anybody thinks of anything else that would be kind of creative to do, I wouldn't say let me know. Or maybe let one of the other captains know. I'm just a podcast host, so I'm not really in charge of anything. But anyway,
you're in charge of this.
See, I'm in charge of this.
You're in charge of the people.
I am in charge of the people's word. Okay.
You are the gatekeeper to all.
am
all these things, all right?
the voice of the people. Yes.
The voice for the voiceless.
The voice, and I'm also a captain. So really I'm playing both sides, so I always land up on top.
You might as well just run the league at this point.
I would not like that.
It'd be a headache.
It'd be a little too much. Now Charlie can keep the admin stuff. I'm good. I just like being on the field.
I just like playing, bro.
I just like playing. I just like football. Football's fun.
Yeah.
But no, I sent you some stuff when you were over, 20 minutes ago, and I think it would add a new dimension a little bit. I don't think we've ever talked about it. So we have our normal playoff preview and things like that. So quickly I'll go through results from last week, and then I'll kind of go over what I told you, and we can go into predictions. But last week, Notre Dame, I'm sorry to say, picking up their first loss of the season to TCU was a great game. I will say it was a great game. 64-58, close, one possession. Seemed like it was like that the entire time. Florida State, again, squeaking by San Diego State 64-60. I know San Diego State was missing some people. It was kind of the week, because it was Mother's Day, it was kind of the week for substitutes, and I can speak for really hard on that because we had all of 3 players. So Ole Miss technically getting their first win off of a forfeit. Now, they did technically beat us in the quote-unquote scrimmage, but we did have 5 players, so I'm not going to lie. I was a little gassed.
Edit that one out. You got to keep that.
No, I'll keep it. I'll keep it. Tennessee over LSU 80-12, and then Oregon over Indiana 50-48. We definitely had some close games, and I think it had an attribute to, just good teams. We had some good battles, but also, like I said, the substitutes definitely played a little bit into it. I know Seth, I tried to recruit him for my game. His arm was dead. I think he played 2 straight games, and then I tried to recruit him for a third, and it didn't work. So we might have to Oregon, you guys might have to put him on a pitch count just to make sure you guys' playoffs will be all right.
Does the Nuts have a backup quarterback?
I don't know. They might need it. His arm was hurting.
We'll see.
We might see him on the questionable list coming into Saturday.
I feel like if we keep talking too much bad about him, he's going to get mad, and he's just going to want to come back and play no matter what.
I know, but will that make him throw more interceptions if he's not playing tactically, but he's playing on emotion?
Ooh.
See, I'm trying to get into his head a little bit. He did tell me to put some respect on him, which he did show me his 2 rings, so I got to give it to him a little bit. And I didn't ask ChatGPT to do it, but it did give me a top 3 for MVP picks.
Ooh.
Let me scroll up. I have this whole chat that's just been going on these entire 6 weeks. So it's scrolling up. So ChatGPT's MVP race, and Josh Nelson, one of the few captains that sent me something because, it was a weird week. Josh Nelson last week had 11 touchdown passes. Would you like to take a guess on how many touchdown passes he had this week, Xavier?
I'm going to guess 13.
It was 12.
He sucks.
He could have got 13.
He should have.
I don't understand why he didn't. I think that knocks him down a little bit. No, but let's just say, what is it, 23 touchdowns in 2 games?
Someone stop this man.
What are we doing?
I need someone to slip something into his water.
No, but I'll give you ChatGPT's top 3. So Josh Nelson for Tennessee. It commented that he is leading the best offense in the league. Now, everybody can take that as you will, whatever you want to define that as. Second place, he has Seth Parsley from Oregon. ChatGPT does say he is the most efficient elite quarterback in the league. Elite. He's not even just good. He's elite.
So, yeah, Seth, you can't even be mad at ChatGPT this weekend, all right?
Okay, it gave you second place. First loser. That's fine. It's okay. Third place, it has Cameron Neer for Tennessee, which I think is well-deserved as well. Cam is just crazy.
How many touchdowns did Cameron Neer score last week?
Ooh,
did Josh send that in?
Let me look really quick.
And while he's looking, I will distract everyone for a slight bit of time.
Good distraction. Are you ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, so last week, not this past game. So last week, Cam had 8 touchdowns total. This week, he was down a little bit. I will say that. He had 4 touchdowns. What is this combination that we're doing here?
I don't know.
My defensive heart hurts to see this. And it's not like I just think this Tennessee team's good.
Dude, they are. They are the sneakiest team. I will say that.
Looking at this, it's not even like this past week with Josh's 12 touchdowns. Cam had 4, Neo had 2, Ross had 1, Ashton had 1, Sheldon had 1, Logan had 1, Paul had 2. So they're spreading the ball, right?
Yeah, they're spreading the ball out. Everyone's getting in the end zone.
Everybody's getting some love shown to them. So it's not like we're just throwing to one person here. Now, given when Cam had 8 touchdowns. Maybe it was just one person. But I think when we go back week to week, I do think they are the most efficient offense. They just know how to get everybody involved. Because when I'm scrolling back in Josh's texts, everybody it looks like on his team is involved in some sort of statistic.
Yeah, and that's always dangerous for other teams going up against that.
Yeah, and I mean they if you look at their point totals, let me change screens. 68, 50, 70, 72, 80. Their lowest points was to you guys scoring 50. So, I mean, there's a plus.
Oh, yeah.
50? I know. That's a lot of points.
And they should have had only freaking, like 34, 40 maybe. It's okay. It's okay.
It happens. It's in the past. Past is in the past.
I'll take that dog. I'll still take that.
Anyway, what I was going to go for is the things that I just sent you, where we're talking about what. So we know what the playoff picture looks like. It really hasn't shifted that much.
No.
Still got Oregon at 1, Tennessee 2, TCU 3 did jump up, Notre Dame 4. So sorry. Florida State 5, Vanderbilt 6, Indiana 7, and then 8, 9, 10, San Diego State, Ole Miss, LSU. So not too much shifting. It still has the only difference it has in the Final Four is TCU instead of Vanderbilt, which deserved. But championship game, it has the same, and it still has Oregon winning it all. So not too much of a change. Again, it being kind of a sub week. Not saying like teams aren't where they're at, but I think we only had a few very like full teams. But I do think it's interesting, and I texted it to you earlier today, and I texted it in the captain's chat, that there are still 5 teams vying for that number 1 spot.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy.
It is crazy. And I know Charlie said the past 2 seasons, the number 1 has not won it.
Yeah, so the past 2 seasons, the number 1 seed has both been undefeated going into the tournament, and then they lost their first game of the season in the championship.
That's just wild.
Yeah, because what was it? Last season, I was on the Saints team, and we got lost to the Rams during week 2.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, we lost that game kind of like how we lost against TCU, which is actually really ironic.
Mm-hmm.
We lost in the final 8 seconds against TCU, and then on my Saints team when we played the Rams, we lost with 7 seconds left.
Oh.
So like literally the exact same way. Which
mm-hmm.
I mean, if history is going to repeat itself, then like we're fulfilling the prophecy in that.
We are fulfilling the prophecy. Now, sadly, the only undefeated team remaining, Oregon, is a very good team. I think they're very well-rounded, and I think they're just explosive on offense and defense. And me and you have the pleasure of playing them in the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, brother.
So, looking at the projections for this next week, Notre Dame is projected to win over Florida State by 4. San Diego State is projected to win by 6 over Indiana. Tennessee projected to win by 1 over TCU. And I can quote ChatGPT and saying that 1 point does not do this game justice. It is truly a coin flip.
And honestly, after playing both squads, I am personally excited to see this matchup.
I am, and I feel bad for Isaac. Isaac, I feel like I mentioned you a lot, and it's never good news. But ChatGPT and him are not getting along. And I think this week is not helping. They have been favored to lose, not just this week, but last week and the week before. They beat Florida State when they were projected to lose, and they beat you guys when they were projected to lose. So does the trend continue? And this is TCU's 3rd straight game of the week.
That's crazy.
Game of the week versus Florida State, Notre Dame, and now Tennessee, and potentially another one versus Indiana next week. We'll see how things shake up. Because I heard Indiana has a new quarterback.
Yeah. Yeah, they do.
So they might not end up accurate. I mean, they got San Diego State this week, so that might not be accurate. But in the theme of ChatGPT does not lie. They did lose 1 game this week, and obviously there was 1 forfeit, so I didn't really count that. But ChatGPT did go 3-1 this week with a total record of 19-5 on the year.
19 for 25. Hang on, man. Let's see the updated 79%. All right, so it went down 1%.
It went down a little bit, yeah.
Went down 1%.
But still, I take those odds.
For sure.
I take those odds. Unless they're favored against Vanderbilt, then I don't take those odds. But what we're kind of going back to, so Oregon has a chance to go undefeated in the regular season. According to Lay Playoff Bracket, let me scroll up a little bit, they would play the lowest remaining seed, which ChatGPT has San Diego State. So they would get a rematch against San Diego. Rematch? Have they played? Yeah, rematch of San Diego State, which they played in week 3. Oregon did win that game 74-47. However, in that next round, they will run into Notre Dame or Florida State most likely. So you might get a little shot back at him, Xavier.
Well, here's another thing too that I don't think ChatGPT has also taken into effect. Right.
Okay.
So Tennessee and TCU are getting ready to play each other this week, and
Yes.
they're the 2 and the 3 seed. Right?
Yes.
So one of those teams has to lose.
Yeah.
Right? Am I right?
You are right. You are right.
So one of those teams has to fall unless we also drop the ball against Florida State. So here's how I see it. All right.
Okay. I'm ready for it.
If Notre Dame just wins our last 2 games, we should be able to get that first round bye still, because we've got to play Florida State. TCU and Tennessee are going to one of them are going to knock each other out. We'll jump into the 3rd seed if we win this week, of course. And then we go up against the undefeated Ducks if they beat you guys this week. Yes. So we have the chance to get back in the top 2 at least. And who knows, if we win these last 2 games, we could be the number 1 seed. So I'm
never know.
I'm loving our spot where we're at right now.
It's not impossible. You have a 22% chance to get the 1 or 2 seed. Yeah, and it's not an insignificant number at all when we're talking about odds. Now, ChatGPT loves Oregon, I've noticed.
Mm-hmm.
I know they weren't as favored in the beginning of the season, but ChatGPT has Oregon at 80%. Getting the number 1 seed. 80% chance to get the number 1 seed, 14% chance to get the number 2 seed, and then it dwindles from there. Tennessee most likely to get the 2 seed with a 35% chance. But ironically, they also have an equal chance at 26% to get the 3rd and 4th seed. So again, that's not an insignificant number. And with Tennessee, they have TCU this week and Florida State. So 2 tough games.
Yeah.
That could potentially, there's still a lot of things that could be shaken up here.
For sure.
And so I wouldn't count any team out. Again, I know I only scrimmaged Ole Miss, but they seemed like they were putting some things together. And theoretically, they could win out these next 2 weeks, go 3 and 4, and they can steal a 7 seed. Now, they cannot mathematically go higher than that. So they're going to be in the play-in bracket. But not saying it's impossible. They could go on a little bit of run, see what happens. For sure. Going through, I hate saying ChatGPT. I feel like that's just a long name. So I'm just going to say chat. Going through what chat has for the play-in, as we said, Indiana and LSU at the 7 and 10 seed. Has Indiana winning 38-27 in that first round. San Diego State Ole Miss has San Diego State winning 45-31 in that first round. 7 and 8 seeds advance. You have the top 8 in the bracket. It does have Tennessee beating Indiana in the quarterfinal rounds, or the Elite 8, 62-34 with that explosive Tennessee offense. TCU, it does have over Vanderbilt. That did switch from last week. Has them at a significant 54-38 advantage.
The disrespect.
Oregon, the disrespect. I'm its creator, and it's still disrespecting me. Has Oregon beating San Diego State 65-33. Has Notre Dame beating Florida State by 10, 57-47. Then moving on to that Final Four, has Oregon over Notre Dame 61-57, and Tennessee over TCU 60-53. So 2 one-score games, probably coming down to the last drive. And then championship game, and has Oregon winning it 63-56 over Tennessee. If there's anything my dad has taught me, Xavier, besides everything in football, it's very hard to beat a team once, but it's even harder to beat a team twice.
For sure.
So I would be very excited to see that Oregon Notre Dame in the semifinals. Mm-hmm. And I hope I'm playing at the same time, but obviously, I just think we have a very good, if I'm being an unbiased opinion, and I like to think I am. Isaac might not think so. It's ChatGPT, I promise. But I think we have a very solid top 4.
I would agree.
And I think the only reason I'm not going any more than that is because there might be some questions with Florida State and Vanderbilt when it comes to rosters. Even San Diego State and Indiana. All 4 of those teams have had roster issues. And I know Florida State I think they're still a good overall team. Obviously, I'm not going to get to play them. And I think the talent's there. I think they just got to come together a little bit.
Yeah.
But, again, Vanderbilt, We last week had 3 guys. In weeks 3 and 4, we were down to like 6 and 7. So subs are kind of a big problem for us. Indiana, like I said, has a new quarterback this week and a couple new guys. And San Diego State also has a couple new permanent players. So those are 4 teams that could shift. I mean, Florida State being 3 and 2 and San Diego State being 1 and 4, technically they could flip. And so, I mean, being 3 and 4, having a 5 seed would be wild, but it's possible.
Yeah.
And then even Ole Miss and LSU, I'm not saying count anybody out. So again, not much shifting has occurred, but I know there's only 2 weeks left, but a lot of things can still happen. Because even when we go looking at LSU, the highest possible seed they can get is 6. That's obviously if they win out, go 2 and 5. It's not impossible, but again, things can shift. So they could even end up in one of those positions where they might be playing a lower seed. So never know what's going to happen for sure. And I did misspeak earlier. Ole Miss can actually get up to 5. I read the wrong thing.
Ooh.
So again, see if Joe can rally him. See if Joe and JJ can rally him.
Can Joe and JJ rally the troops? Joe's making his return back this week too.
He is, yes. He was out of service last week. The team did well without him. Got their first win, sadly, against us. But, things happen. One thing I didn't go over last week, and I probably should have. I didn't think about it till later. I think I briefly touched on it, but I had the captains submit their MVP picks, Offensive Player of the Year, Defensive Player of the Year, of what it would be. Chris Marker, overwhelming Defensive Player of the Year pick.
I haven't played him this year, but I can already probably test to that.
Yeah, I mean, I voted for him. Yeah. So, I mean, I think he's always been solid. I've played against him many times, and he's one of the few guys that I cannot get away from.
No, he's so good.
He's just a heat-seeking missile.
Yeah, he's good.
When we talk about Offensive Player of the Year, Seth's name comes up, but we also got some low kid in there. Yeah, we got a few votes.
Okay.
Depends on who we're looking at. Obviously, Josh's name's thrown in there as well. But for MVP, it's not a clear person. We have Cameron Neer, we got Vaughn Williams, we got Josh Nelson. That's pretty much your top 3, which I think is good. I mean, Vaughn is always good. I mean, I don't think I've ever pulled his flag before, if we're being completely honest.
I think I did once, and I was pretty excited that I got it. But yeah, same with Lowe. I was pretty. I don't know. I was like, yeah. I was like, they got me a couple times, but man, when you get their flag, it's like such a weight lifted off your shoulders.
It's so funny.
You look behind you, it's like, oh, if he would have got past me, he was gone.
Oh, it's gone.
Yeah, that's like, yeah.
Well, and I've noticed, and I even told JJ this during our game. I don't know what it is. It's like, I don't know if it was transitioning from like tackle football, and I still haven't like fully transitioned, because I'll catch myself accidentally like lowering my shoulder sometimes.
Yeah.
And I think me and Josh almost collided one time, and I was like, sorry, force a habit. Like, it was just is what it is. But I cannot pull that flag to save my life. I don't know why.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Like, some days you're really on it with the pulling, and then there's just some days where it's just like, why am I even out here? Like,
right.
Like, why did I think it was a good idea for me to step onto this field? Like, for real, bro.
Yeah, and I mean, even when we could talk about conditioning issues, we get to halftime, I'm like, I have a whole other
right. Usually by halftime, though, I'm usually like settled in by then. It's the first half is just a little rough.
Yeah, you're not wrong. You're not wrong at all. When we talk about end of the year predictions, I know it's hard for us to be unbiased, technically. That's why I introduced ChatGPT, so I could talk through them almost. Do you see the field changing as much when it comes to rankings? I know Notre Dame, obviously, like, you can win the last 2. But do you see rankings shifting as much, or do you think they're fairly settled from where we're standing right now?
I guess it just comes down to a couple games this week. Because, I mean, yeah, like I was saying earlier, like if we win Tennessee and TCU, one of them are going to go to 2 losses. So we'll automatically jump up if we win this week. All right. And so Tennessee or TCU will drop 2, or will basically flip flop with us if we win. Okay. I'm not.
If we win. Yes.
I'm trying my best to just.
It's hard.
I'm trying my best not to make it sound like I'm actually going to win. But if we win.
Yeah.
If we
win.
Yeah, we are looking pretty good. So, I mean, there's going to be a couple more changes, I feel like. And then especially with us, if we beat Oregon, I think that's really going to make this field a little bit more fun, because then you got potential 3 one-loss teams.
Exactly. Then we're coming down to tiebreakers.
And we're coming down to tiebreakers, head-to-heads, and whatnot.
Yeah.
Differential.
Exactly.
So, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Like,
it's possible.
That head-to-head was matter right now, we'd still be 2. But
yeah. Well, and that even, like you said, it depends even what TCU does. Because if TCU wins out,
yeah,
then technically they could get the number 1 seed.
yeah,
Like you said, if you guys beat Oregon, then we're coming down to head to head. Like TCU didn't play Oregon. I'd have to look at exactly how this would work, but my thought process would be TCU beat you guys, and you guys would have beat Oregon. So that would put TCU at 1, Notre Dame 2, Oregon 3.
yeah.
Theoretically, I'm assuming that's right. Charlie, correct me if I'm wrong. But so I think there can be a lot of shifting, especially with just these 2 weeks left. But I mean, if you look at week 7, that Notre Dame Oregon game is good. Early game of the week, possible game of the year.
Oh, yeah.
Because it really does. Like, it could depend on all this stuff. And if Notre Dame does beat Oregon, then you're looking at there are no undefeated teams
Going into playoffs,
and so
that would be really, really interesting.
So yeah, no undefeated teams. Everybody has a weakness that somebody can exploit. So I think this year's a lot. You can correct me if I'm wrong. This year feels different than most seasons.
For sure. And I think the reason why it feels so different as well is just because there's an extra 2 teams as well.
Yeah, having 10 teams
is actually
is crazy.
Yeah. And to think that we started out with 4 teams in this league, and to think that we got 10 now is kind of crazy.
Yeah. I mean, keeping track of everybody, and this is the first season where you don't play every team.
Right. That definitely makes it more fun too.
So it really does come down to like your strength of schedule and who you have beat, which is, I don't want to say it's the first time that it's happened, but it'll be probably the first time that we have to look further with tiebreakers than head to head. Because like I said, that the scenario where you guys beat Oregon and TCU wins out, it's like, so now what? Because then you have Tennessee at 5-2, so they would technically be the 4 seed, but everybody else is 6-1. Again, it's never happened before where it's like, well, TCU hasn't played Oregon. Well, again, I'm assuming they'd be number 1 just because they would technically beat you guys would beat Oregon, et cetera, et cetera. But that'll be interesting when we get to playoffs as well, because we might see some matchups in the playoffs that we haven't seen yet.
Yeah.
Like, it's possible that our championship game has never, like, the 2 teams haven't played each other, which has never happened before.
Could be very interesting.
Strength of schedule. I didn't do the strength of schedule, so sorry, for the last 2 weeks, but something I'm going to introduce next week and even going into the playoffs is what your strength of schedule was in the beginning of the year versus the end. So technically, Notre Dame had the easiest quote-unquote schedule in the preseason.
Yeah, that was stupid. That was absolutely crazy to me.
So, I know. I mean, and it wasn't like, I mean, it was a significant amount, but it was like, what are we going off of? Can Matt actually do math kind of thing? But now it's like, what you guys were. Now I gotta scroll down again. I have so many sheets for this. And now, right now, last week you were sitting at the toughest remaining schedule. So I'll be interested to calculate like who, when all this is said and done, who had the toughest schedule when it comes down to things.
I already know the answer to that. I mean,
what if it's Vanderbilt? You don't know.
It's not Vanderbilt, bro. It's not Vanderbilt, bro.
I'm just saying it's possible.
I would make TCU might have an argument as well because their last 3 games are pretty freaking tough.
I mean, their last, oh my gosh, yeah. Their last Notre Dame, Tennessee, Indiana. Well, Florida State, Notre Dame, Tennessee, Indiana.
And Indiana, and I'll tell you what, they've only won 1 game, but geez.
Oh my god, they're still a squad.
Yeah, dude, like they can beat anyone at any given day.
I mean, every game they have is competitive.
Absolutely.
They beat Ole Miss 52-12, but every one of their losses is competitive. I mean, they lost to Florida State 46-30. They lost to Notre Dame 66-40. Lost to Tennessee 72-50, and then the Oregon game was 50-48. So you include that new quarterback and some chemistry, and they are forced to be reckoned with.
For sure.
They might pull some Kirk Cignetti stuff. Indiana could win this chip. We don't know.
They could.
They could,
especially if they get a little bit of they start gelling a little bit more. Yeah, I'd be scared to play them.
I mean, I'm scared to play everybody, to be honest.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I'm just a nervous soul, I guess. I don't trust
I think it just goes to show the talent that we have in this league.
It is, and I've said it repeatedly, but like from when I first started playing, I don't want to say like I felt like I was one of the top players, but now I step on the field, I'm like, shoot, I'm middle of the pack, homie. Yeah. I'm like, I'm having
the past 2 teams that I've been on, I've felt like I've just been, like, a middle of the pack guy. I'm
yeah.
like, what was it when we were only having, like, 4, 6, 8 teams sometimes, like, sometimes
Hmm.
I would be one of the better players going out in the field, and now I don't feel
Yeah.
that. I feel like I have to go prove myself, which is honestly a much better position that I like to be in,
Yeah, exactly.
so
One thing I do want to say before we end it. So I always have ChatGPT think of a couple different graphics when it comes to stuff. In its first, it changed its mind, and I don't know why. So when I did the first playoff prediction for this week, and I was like, hey, can you make a graphic for this? It had LSU beating Indiana in the first round of the playoffs.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
I can screenshot it. I got LSU over Indiana, the 10 seed beating the 7. So I would like to say this. LSU, even if you lose out, there's still faith. There's still hope.
ChatGPT has some faith in you, bro.
Some faith. It sees something in you to where it was like, nah, they can beat Indiana. So everybody's still got a shot here. Now Vanderbilt has a great shot. I'm sure we still have a first place vote, but
God. We didn't do that this past week, did we?
No, I told Charlie because he asked me about it a couple weeks ago, and I decided to do it every other week just so people didn't get confused with like the actual rankings. And to be honest, I was lazy.
Dude, yeah, this week's been, Mother's Day weekend really just kinda threw a
I
wrench
know
to everything.
mothers love you to death, but you really messed up our flag football stuff. I'm tired now. We had a short, or well, I guess we had a long week. We had a short week last week.
Yeah,
Now we had an extra day, so it's just throwing our rhythm off.
getting old.
I know we're getting old.
I feel really bad for those play-in rounds. I gotta play 2 games in one day once playoffs start.
Oh yeah.
Gosh, that's gonna be rough.
I was just say, can you imagine?
That's why I really want to that's really why I want a first round bye, bro.
Just avoid the 7 to 10 seed and you'll be all right. That's right. Having to play the early game. If you win, take a break and then play another game.
Dude, that's rough.
That's rough. I mean, you got to want it.
Yeah.
And I don't know if my body could do it. I don't know. But you got anything else for us? I know we're reaching time limit. If not, if you don't mind praying us out, I'd appreciate it.
Yeah. No, I don't think I got anything else. Just excited to see how this weekend's games go and how much different this is going to look, like the graphics wise and playoff predictions. Because I feel like after this week, it's going to start kind of, I don't know, sort of finalizing its final form in
Yeah.
a way, like rankings wise.
Mm-hmm.
So going into the final week, and then I know we got a couple good games to end the year. Let me see.
Yeah.
Let me pull this up.
I mean, like I said, we got Notre Dame, Oregon to end it. Even if you look at like, we have a lot of games that will, even if it's not like a top tier, it will mess up the seeding. So like, we play LSU to end it, and at that point, like, say LSU is 0-6. At that point, like, what do you have to lose? So it's like they can throw everything at us, and then we could end up 2-7, and now we're in a play-in game. So, I mean, even Tennessee and Florida State having the last week, like that's going to be a significant game
too.
Indiana TCU is going to be a good game. So we got some good ones to round it out.
And the Rebels and Aztecs, honestly, is going to be a good one too to watch.
Yeah.
Especially with how the Rebels and how they played last week. I don't know if they still got some of their subs still playing.
So,
or like I don't know how that still works.
I will say their team is very. I feel like I say this for everybody, but it is. I feel like they found their stride a little bit.
Yeah, for sure.
And I'm not just saying that because we only had 3 players. I'm just saying that like I saw them execute and I saw what they were able to do in making it work. And so they started running. I'm not going to give obviously their playbook. That's what I was going to say earlier. Oh, I'm so mad at myself.
Oh my gosh, see the random thoughts.
The random thoughts.
The CTE is speaking to you.
It came back to me. No, like that's what, like, they found something that worked. Again, I'm not going to give scheme wise up or anything like that, but they found something that worked, and I'm not going to say they stole it from us, but it worked. But they executed at a high level, and we just couldn't find a way to stop it. And so like we had to adjust ourselves, and then we ended up down a player or two just to like kind of adjust to it, and they took advantage of that. So I mean, like I said, everybody's game. I don't know.